Hello everyone, welcome to Redmen TV. It's time for some Liverpool news. It's Wednesday. There's a few things I want to discuss ahead of tonight's Reds News Roundup show, which will be on the redmentv.com, the place where we discuss all Liverpool's transfer news and news in general and debate in full depth and detail in around 60 minutes. So let me kick off with a piece of transfer news for a player going out of Anfield this summer, and his name is Andre Wisdom. And this is weird because it's how the universe works. I, randomly enough, was thinking about Andre Wisdom. Not sexually. Maybe not. No, I was thinking about him, wondering what kind of future he might have, because I'd seen that his team, Red Bull Salzburg, looked like they're about to win the Austrian Premier Division. And I thought, oh, well, you know, that's good. And I wonder whether that meant that might be a little bit of experience for him as another title winner that you could potentially bring back into the fold and what have you. And then the news has come out that apparently they want to extend his loan deal for another season, whereas Liverpool have put a €5 million asking price on his head, which equates to about, what, 4.2 million in this world that we live in today. Now, the Liverpool Echo go on to say that the club that's most likely to pay the fee up front for him is actually Derby County, which is a team he spent some time on loan at. He maybe wants to go there and see if he can dig his Porsche out of the mud. Who knows? Maybe he's got unfinished business there. Maybe he wants to complete that sweet jump and you know, make his life complete. I don't know. I think we all thought time was up for Andre Wisdom last summer, if I'm perfectly honest. If we're able to generate, look, in the region of 5 million, and that's not to say that's set in stone, because if Derby are happy to pay it, there'll be another Championship team happy to pay it, and you might even start finding that lower-end Premier League teams might want to take a punt as well. Who knows? And that means that you can start to generate a little bit more, you know, interest, and therefore drive the price up a bit. I wouldn't be shocked to see him go for around £5 million, if I'm perfectly honest. And I think that'll be pretty reasonable. Let us know your thoughts, though. Would you like to see Andre Wisdom give him one last chance? For me, if we were to play three at the back next season, and we wanted to dedicate our funds to particular areas of the pitch, like let's go and buy 3 really expensive midfielder and attacking prospects, then I wouldn't be asked to see him in and around the squad. I think you could do worse, but equally you've got to look at it and say, if it's only Championship clubs are interested in taking him, then do we really want him at Liverpool? And I think ultimately the answer is probably no. If you're looking at moving on the likes of Kev Stewart as well, and Cam Brannigan looks like he could be going, I don't think Wisdom is necessarily, from what I've seen, I don't think I've seen enough to prove that he's top class, particularly when he's been given opportunities at decent clubs, not just Liverpool. So that's, well, obviously more on that to follow. Now, so it's barely news, so I apologise, and because it's barely news, I've refused to put this as the title of the video on this one. But Jurgen Klopp has talked about some players that he admires around world football, which has led to a lot of outlets clickbaiting to buggery on this one. Now, the players that he's mentioned that he likes are Busquets from Barcelona, Toni Kroos, Thiago Alcantara, and David Silva, and I think there was a mention for one other as well, but it's kind of irrelevant. He's mentioned David Silva before. He's a massive fan of him, and I am, to be honest, too. What I like, though, is that, you know, nothing will come of this, because ultimately, you know, if you're Busquets and Kroos, well, listen, you know, you're fairly integral parts of very good Barcelona and Real Madrid teams, and Thiago as well is not likely to leave Bayern anytime soon, I'd guess. But you know, maybe they see the name mentioned, and maybe there's a little flicker in the back of the brains, and go, maybe I wouldn't. Jurgen Klopp likes me. I wouldn't mind having a little go of playing for Jurgen Klopp at some point. Who knows? But fine, good on him. It's nice to know that he likes good players. The last piece of news, and this is the one we have come with. I genuinely don't know how true this is. By the way, I will bookend this to some extent by starting with the original place I read this was like the Independent, but it's in there really heavily dripping with sarcasm transfer roundup, and it's been seen a couple of places since, but I think a lot of people are running with. Let me just get to the crux of it. You've seen it on the thumbnail. It's Cesc Fabregas. He's valued apparently at 30 million, which I honestly think is probably slightly too much for a 29-year-old. Now, I've gone out, I did a video on my channel about what I feel Liverpool really needs, and that was talking about talismanic players, and players particularly who've been there and done it, really experienced and not necessarily in the absolute prime of their careers, so therefore wouldn't demand 50 games a season, but can bring a wealth of experience. And Cesc Fabregas, let's be honest, is a bit of a little bitch, isn't he? I mean, I don't think that he's ever really grasped the mantle of being a top quality player, and that's tough to say because he's been a top level professional for 13 years now, since he broke through to the Arsenal team, which is astounding when you think about it. He's played for Arsenal, Barcelona and Chelsea, and he's won titles, you know, and cups and what have you, and he's achieved most of what you can achieve in the team. I'm not sure that he is. What I've talked about is that was he an integral part of those teams? I don't know. Maybe I've not watched enough, but I wouldn't say he was integral at Barcelona as a Xavi or as an Iniesta. Or God, most of the other players in that team. And again, he's played important games for Spain. He's won at international level. But this being said, I think for a reasonable amount of money, and if you could pick him up for 25, let's say for the sake of argument, I actually do think he would improve our squad. Look, I know he's very much the 13th or 12th, 13th or 14th man for Chelsea this season. And that's not, again, I wouldn't want him to come in and be a first teamer for Liverpool. I don't think he'd push Adam Lallana out. I don't think he'd necessarily push Gini Wijnaldum out either. But we're talking about strength and depth, and if you're going to go and play in the Champions League, a player of that actual quality, I think you could do a lot worse. Now, the only concern is from what I remember, the reason why he fell out of Barcelona was he was feeling he was compromising their tactics and how much they love to press and get in people's faces. And again, that you can't see that being a great fit for Liverpool, and maybe that explains a lot as well why Conte's not as enamoured with him either. But I think Liverpool could do a lot worse this summer. Again, I wouldn't want him as like one of our top 2 or even 3 signings. But if you added someone, if you do 6 bits of business and he's in the last, if he's in position 4, 5 or 6 of that, that's a really smart sign as far as I'm concerned. But I'm not sure how genuine that is, but I'm interested to know your thoughts on that. Cesc Fabregas, would you like to see him in a Liverpool shirt next season? And anyone else as well, of the players that Klopp's named, of those players, who would you be most desperate to see at Anfield out of all the players? Busquets, Kroos, Alcantara and David Silva. Let me know in the comments below. So I've mentioned other videos that I've done. If you want to watch Mates TV, my thoughts on Liverpool transfers, click that video right there. Subscribe to the Redmen TV or subscribe to my channel. Do both. Why not? It's a great day. Smile, subscribe, make me smile even more. Thanks for watching. Check out the Reds News Roundup show on the redmentv.com tonight as well. Ta-ra.